Hi and welcome. What makes leaders successful? Is it wit, charm, statesmanship, having a cool video blog? Who knows? Well, Steve Denning knows, and he's going to talk with us today about his new book, The Secret Language of Leadership. And with any luck, he'll teach me the secret handshake. Hi, Steve. So tell me about your new book.
It's called The Secret Language of Leadership, how leaders use narrative to spark action. And it's the missing chapter in leadership books. I've read hundreds of leadership books over the last year or two, and those books are interesting. They have some fine insights, but when you look for the section that tells you how do you inspire people with enthusiasm, how do you inspire today's cynical, skeptical, difficult audiences with enthusiasm. 9 a.m. Monday morning, you're facing a group of these people, and you're about to tell them that everything they know and love doing is about to be turned upside down and inside out. How do you communicate that so that they become champions of the change? And those books actually don't help you with that challenge, and that's what my book is about, filling that gap and saying, well, how do you do that? And it provides a couple of simple steps that once you've grasped those steps, then you'll be able to know how to go about inspiring, enduring enthusiasm for change in any audience.
So give me a for instance.
Well, my own experience at the World Bank was one of the examples I give when I was faced with trying to persuade one of the world's most change-resistant audiences, the World Bank, to introduce a major strategic change back in 1996. And when I adopted the sort of traditional ways of persuading people by giving reasons why they should make this change, why they should share their knowledge, I just got blank stares and resistance and got nowhere. It was when I started to tell a simple story, and it was only 29 words long, and it went like this. I mean, in June 1995, and this I was telling in early 1996, in June 1995, a health worker in a little village in Zambia logged onto the website for the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia, and got the answer to a question on how to treat malaria. Now, that was June 1995, not June 2015. It wasn't the capital of Zambia. It was a little place 600 kilometers away. And this is not a rich country. This is Zambia, one of the poorest countries in the world. But you know the most important part of that picture for us in the World Bank? The World Bank is not in that picture. And just imagine if it was. Just imagine if we got organized. Think what an organization we could become. And that very simple, even bland anecdote was able to communicate to people in the World Bank the importance of the World Bank getting its knowledge organized to share with the world. And so it became a major program, and the World Bank eventually became benchmarked as a world leader in knowledge management. And so that's one of the illustrations, but there are many more in the book. Al Gore, for instance, 2000, he had everything going for him as a presidential candidate. Strong economy, country at peace, support of a very popular president. He had long international and national experience. He had an opponent with neither. He should have been winning the election by a mile. But October 3rd, 2000, they had the first presidential debate, and all Al Gore had to do was connect. If he connected with the audience, he was home and president by a mile. And he knew he had to tell stories, but he told the wrong stories, stories that became the fodder of late-night comedy. He didn't connect. He lost an election he should have won.
So it's not just about telling stories, it's about telling the right stories.
Right. I mean, fast forward to 2006, what do you see? Al Gore is now giving a PowerPoint presentation that has won him an Emmy, an Oscar, even the Nobel Peace Prize. Now he can fill stadiums faster than Elton John. He has become a rock star in terms of popularity. Why? Why did Al Gore did so poorly in 2000 and did so wonderfully in 2006? By 2006, he'd learned how to tell the right story. He'd learned how to mobilize the power of storytelling to inspire change. And with a very difficult change message, basically telling the whole world that they needed to, their lifestyle to go through some radical changes, he's been able to have a massive impact. Still a lot of work to be done. But the difference between 2000 and 2006 is just absolutely striking. And what it shows is that this can be learned. It's not as though you're stuck with being a poor storyteller. Once you understand the fundamentals of it, anyone can do it. And that's what the book is about, showing what it was that Al Gore was doing in 2006 that he wasn't doing in 2000, and showing how, step by step, you can do that yourself.
And then becoming President of the United States is beneath me, right?
Well, it's probably a lot more fun to go around collecting Oscars and Nobel Peace Prizes than having to eat in motels in Peoria in a presidential campaign.
How do you know where I eat and which motels? Now, why call it The Secret? Is this related to that whole secret movement?
I say secret is because most people don't know this. Most leaders don't know this. Even the leaders who are good at this, if you were to ask Ronald Reagan, who was very good at it, what were the principles by which he was able to connect with people, he was unable to explain what it was he was doing. And most leaders who are not using the principles, and of course running into massive difficulties through trying to persuade people through abstractions and analysis, they don't understand the principles. So what I'm suggesting is that there are some principles, the ones who understand these principles, and you can see why some leaders are able to mobilize whole groups of people and others aren't. Once you understand those principles, anybody can do this. And before those principles are enunciated and understood, this thing looks like black magic. It looks like somebody was born with this magic skill, and so it becomes something that if you're not born with it, you'll have no chance of being a leader. What I'm showing is that this is something that can be learned. This is something that once you understand those principles and follow them through, anyone can move from ordinary to extraordinary.
But we don't lose the magic, right? I mean, this isn't about creating another left-brain analytical approach, I hope. What about the magic of storytelling?
It's like music. I mean, if you understand the principles of music, does that mean you fail to appreciate music because now we're moving from the key of C to the key of G to the key of F to the key of B flat? You might understand all that in one part of your brain, but in another part of your brain you're just relaxing and enjoying the music, and that's what this is about. So understanding the underlying principles, in my experience, doesn't destroy the joy of it. But what it does enable you to do is to replicate it, to repeat it, and to go on systematically finding the right story no matter what the situation you're in.
Well, it sounds like you've created a great story to pass on to people, and thanks for sharing it.
Thanks a lot.
And that's another edition. Thanks for joining us.